Where can you get fair and honest property advice? Well, if you're planning on buying a home or an investment property, you'll probably look to get some advice along the way. And with everyone seeming to have an opinion on the property market, with real estate agents not exactly having a great reputation, and the proliferation of investment seminars that are really developer sales pitches, where can you get fair and honest property advice? Let's firstly look at sources of free advice. Family and friends. Now these can be dangerous because these are well-meaning people and you trust them. But property is a complex beast, and even if they've had some personal successes, their circumstances and life goals may be very different to yours. Plus, they are likely to be heavily biased in favour of what's worked for them and not really understand the risks overall. Mortgage brokers. Now they're paid by the banks and not by you, so their advice is free to the consumer. Some are excellent, while others go the easy route and push you into packages that inflate their commissions. That said, I'm very much in favour of working with a broker. So how do you find a good one? Well, make sure they ask you a lot of questions, not just about your current situation, but your future plans. You want to make sure that your loan structure gives you maximum flexibility, so don't just focus on a low interest rate. Go with your gut instinct. If you feel they are being pushy, run for the hills. And if they encourage you to fudge your figures, find another broker right away. Sales agents. Real estate agents these days will offer you advice on property that they're selling and that other agents are selling. Now they're doing this to establish themselves as trustworthy in your eyes. This information can be useful, but you have to remember that ultimately they are selling you something. And they are being paid by their vendor, not by you. Even when they're giving you tips on other agents' listings, they will often use a subtle negative spin. And of course, when they're talking about one of their own listings, they're going to do just the opposite. It's called objection handling. Now that said, they do know their market and they can give you good tips, but just remember to think critically. And whatever you do, don't let a sales agent bid for you at auction. Spruikers and seminars. I really hate to see a developer sales pitch dressed up as education. If you are invited to a free investment seminar where there's any type of property being recommended, run for your life. And this also goes for any get-rich-quick strategy that you're being asked to sign up for. Now repeat after me, there is no way to get rich quick with property that doesn't involve luck and huge risk. Your own research. There are loads of online resources, blogs, investment magazines, videos like this, podcasts like the Elephant in the Room property podcast, and many others. Invest your own time and cast the net wide. The more you research, the better feel you'll get for reliable and trustworthy sources of quality information. Now I've put together a list of my favourites, free resources that I think are excellent. You can find the link below in the notes. Now let's look at paid advice. Unfortunately, paying for advice doesn't necessarily guarantee that it's good. So here's some things you need to be aware of. Having a good accountant is critical for making sure that your ownership structures are set up well and that you aren't paying more tax than you need to. But some accountants have no idea about property. I've heard horror stories about people buying overpriced brand new apartments to negative gear because their accountant told them they're paying too much tax. Your accountant doesn't need to be a property expert. They simply need to recognise that you need to get advice about the asset itself. Now, financial planners often won't discuss property with their clients because they don't view it as a financial product, or tragically, because they don't earn any fees if their clients invest in property. But whether we buy our own home or an investment property, this is a major financial commitment and really should be done with guidance. Ideally, you'll be using an independent advisor who charges a fee for service and recognises that property is an important part of the mix. If you are dealing with a financial planner who won't discuss property other than to turn you off it, then you really need to find another advisor. Now, when you're in the process of buying or selling real estate, a lawyer or conveyancer will need to be engaged to handle the contractual side. It's really important, particularly when buying, to get a property specialist on your side. I've come across generalists who fail to recognise a whole host of pitfalls, especially when dealing with complex matters such as multifaceted strata buildings. You'd be forgiven for thinking that I'm now going to say that the best place to go for fair and honest property advice is a buyer's agent, but I'm not. Unfortunately, it's been all too easy to get a buyer's agent licence in recent years, so there are a number of practitioners who aren't much chop. So how do you choose a good one? Well, firstly, check whether they're a member of REBA and their state real estate institute. Now, this is no guarantee, but it's a good first step. From the very beginning, are they questioning you deeply? really drilling down to understand your long-term objectives? Are they challenging your assumptions and opening up your mind to all of the possibilities before they make a recommendation? Are they listening to you? Really listening? Check whether they are pushing a particular barrow. Question their recommendations. Are they advising you of the risks? And if they're recommending that you buy in an area about to boom, do they also offer an exit strategy as part of the plan? Then look for local knowledge. A Sydney buyer's agent who flies up to Brisbane or down to Adelaide every fortnight isn't going to be able to give you the same advantage that a local expert can give you. A trusted advisor knows their limits and is able to recommend the expertise of other advisors so that you, their client, achieves the best outcome. And in my view, that's the ultimate test for fair and honest property advice. Whether they are prepared to send you to another advisor because what they have to offer isn't really right for you just now.